And it's not easy being a role model.
Welcome back. We straight away go across to latest. We're picking up from Andhra Pradesh on how Chandrababu Naidu, the Chief Minister, is looking at revamping the economy by roping in investments. There are plans in place as far as the Chief Minister is concerned. He's visiting Tirupati, where he will be signing MOUs for investments to the tune of 3,000. Also food processing industries. They're likely to generate employment for nearly 15,280 people. It's estimated that by 2027, over 50% of the air conditioners manufactured in India will also originate in Andhra Pradesh. In total, Sri City in Andhra Pradesh has investments of $4.5 billion and total exports of $4 billion. We promise to keep you ahead on that. That's all from me for now in this edition of Nation at 5. Over to Akanksha Swaroop for Plain Speak.
This is CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Very good evening. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Akanksha Swaroop, and we are coming live to you from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. It is Raksha Bandhan today, a festival that celebrates the bond of protection for both women and men. And so on an occasion that's rather bitterly ironical for the women of Bengal, the protesting doctors have tied black rakhis as a mark of their agitation against the alleged rape and murder of a postgraduate trainee doctor at the RG Medical College in Kolkata. And for the Bengal Chief Minister, the opposition BJP or CPIM are the least of her worries. There are many questions Banerjee needs to find answers to, because it's not just the opposition and the general public. In fact, many of her own party colleagues, such as TMC's Sukhendu Shekhar Roy, who are equally suspicious. The TMC MP has approached the Calcutta High Court seeking protection from arrest. Roy has slammed the demolition work and called for custodial interrogation of the police commissioner and former hospital principal. Moreover, CNN News 18 has also spoken to several students from the RG Medical College because of the undue pressure by the former principal and his coterie were in fact forced to commit suicide. What's even more shocking is that the Kolkata police have summoned two protesting doctors, Dr. Sarkar and Dr. Goswami, for allegedly spreading misinformation. There are many questions being raised about the role and response of the Kolkata police, attempts to hush up the entire murder case as a suicide case and conspiracy theories among others. And so instead of probing the role of the Kolkata police, the police commissioner and the ex-principal, Dr. Sandeep Ghosh, has Mamata Banerjee protected the perpetrators with her political patronage. Clearly, the West Bengal CM is losing the plot. Now that the Bengal government is under fire, that brings us to the big question: is there an attempt to silence and intimidate? And now the state government is currently facing fire from all sides. Let's also bring you all those questions that in fact hint at a cover-up attempt and complicity that's currently haunting the administration, and the recent decisions by the government and the police have only made matters worse. Here are why the state faces allegations of muzzling dissent. Firstly, there's been prohibitory orders for 7 days outside the RG Car Hospital that also indicate at a bid to silence the protesters as well. The Durand Cup game was in fact cancelled with the threat of protests. Mind you, these have been peaceful protests except for the time on the eve of Independence Day when there was a violent mob that attacked those peaceful protesters. At the same time, top doctors have been summoned for spreading misinformation. Dr. Sarkar and Dr. Goswami, both of them. BJP and the CPIM leaders have summoned for comments on the case as well, because the opposition has also raised similar queries. TMC MP Sukhendu Roy has also been summoned, as has been Shantanu Sen, who's been axed from post. At the same time, the college students have been arrested for their posts against Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. So clearly, TMC is also cracking down heavily on anybody who's taking to social media to voice themselves against the current administration and the government. TMC's political rivals are also questioning the double standards of the party and the state government. The victims' parents have also raised similar questions. The biggest challenge for the police and the administration is to effectively counter the narrative of applying different yardsticks as per their convenience. While a college student has been arrested by Kolkata police for a provocative social media post that incited violence against West Bengal's Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, a State Minister Udyan Guha has openly threatened violence against those who are questioning Mamata Banerjee and pointing the finger at her. The TMC is yet to publicly denounce its leader for that own comment. Now, activists, doctors, even TMC leaders have raised questions on this case, have also been summoned by the Kolkata police for questioning, accusing them of spreading misinformation. On the other hand, the Trinamool Congress has accused its political detractors of using a toolkit to target the state government and destabilize it. After the vandalism at the RG Kar hospital on the night of 14th of August, the state decided to clamp down and invoke prohibitory orders around RG Kar hospital, which means no protests could take place there. But while that dissenting voice was also being muzzled, ironically, the Chief Minister herself marched for justice. It's an open secret that Mamata Banerjee has been somebody who believes in protests, something that she also displayed as her role when she was in the opposition. But the TMC is a divided house today. Some of its own netas do not seem convinced with the defense of the state government. Party MP Sukhendu Shekhar Roy, in a social media post, in fact himself demanded that the CBI must undertake custodial interrogation of the Kolkata Police Commissioner and previous principal of the RG Kar Medical College. That also invited summons from the police for questioning today, which prompted him to move the Calcutta High Court. Why so? He's in fact seeking anticipatory bail. He's expecting that he will be arrested any time from now. Former TMC MP Shantanu Sen, who criticized the principal of Kolkata's RG Kar Medical College, was sacked as a party spokesperson. He has also claimed that some people are not giving the right picture to the Chief Minister about what's happening in the health department. That also brings us to the question, is Mamata Banerjee more susceptible to such kind of political patronage? And so on, that's the big question as far as the Bengal government coming under fire. The question we are probing today is Mamata Banerjee's government making an attempt to silence and intimidate all those who are currently raising questions at the role that the Kolkata police and the Mamata Banerjee government has played.
Be an understatement of the decade to say that what went wrong. I hope something went wrong with me, but that is not the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is not, perhaps it will be very difficult to find anything which is going right in and around you and me in this city and state right now.
एकदम हम लोग का डिपार्टमेंट का कोई नहीं और कॉलेज का कोई हमारा साथ कोऑपरेट नहीं किया। मिशन घाट का बारे में बोलता है, श्मशान घाट के बारे में उधर 3 बॉडी पड़ा हुआ था, लेकिन उसका पहले ही हमारा लड़की का बॉडी जला दिया गया।
See, the reflection of what is happening here, a kind of reality check, is there in the reported statement or observation of the Honorable High Court that there is absolute failure of the machinery in the state government.
And with that, let me introduce our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, who is a Padma Shri awardee and also the chairperson of the Nephron Clinic. I'm joined in by Mr. Shashikant, who is a former IPS officer, Ms. Charu Pragya, who is a spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, and Manav Jaiswal, who is the spokesperson for the Trinamool Congress. Many thanks to you, Charu, and the gentleman for joining in. Dr. Bagai, I'd like to begin with you. It's very ironical that we have to discuss women's safety on a day women have been granted protection, and it's rather celebrated on a day like Raksha Bandhan. But Dr. Bagai, what was the need to pen that letter to the Prime Minister, while you also shed light on all those components and whatever that you've asked of the Prime Minister? But why pen a letter to the Prime Minister in the first place? Why not the Chief Minister, Mamata Banerjee?
Good evening, everyone. I think it's sad that on a day when a brother gets a Rakhi tied from a sister, we aren't able to protect our own women, young doctors, young sisters, young daughters, young daughter-in-laws in our own country. And I don't think what's happening in West Bengal has done their government any proud at all. We need safety for young doctors. In fact, for all doctors. We need safety for the young nursing staff. The hospitals, at least the government hospitals there, have been shown in extremely poor light. They are ill-equipped to do that. Point number two is, as a large medical community, we are extremely pained. We are pained on the way the entire process has been conducted. We don't want any wash-up. We don't want any botched-up investigations. We don't want any cover-up. We want the guilty to be punished. In a sense, what we have asked the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, is we want safety protocols in the hospitals. We want to act for quick and prompt response justice. And we want this mess cleared up in West Bengal. We don't trust what is happening there. Therefore, Prime Minister of India has been addressed with this letter. About 72, 73 of our doctors, senior doctors, have written this letter. We are pained. Trust me, it distresses us. It could be one of our family members who could have lost our lives. How would we like that? We will not tolerate this kind of injustice to women in our country.
Mr. Shashikant, I'd like to bring you in on this aspect. While I'm sure the centre is going to pay heed to that letter, of course the Prime Minister too, we all know that, bringing in an act is not going to happen overnight. But having said that, this complete erosion of trust within the people of Bengal, the women of Bengal, as far as the Mamata Banerjee government is concerned, what are those lapses that has led to this complete trust deficit?
Well, in one sentence, it's a breakdown of the entire machine. Very sad, whatever has happened in West Bengal. But this thing happened in Delhi, Nirbhayas, and this kind of things unfortunately happen every other day. My question is, police should have taken action by itself immediately after it got the information. What is wrong with the police, number one? What is wrong with the politics that we have in this country till such time there is a furor all over the country if nobody takes any attention?
But Mr. Shashikant, if one were to give Nirbhaya's example, I'm sure you will agree that the role that Sheila Dikshit and her government that had played back then compared to a Mamata Banerjee now, there's a marked difference. I'm sorry to say this.
There is, certainly there is. I'm talking about the gravity of the crime. I'm not casting aspersions on Sheila or Mamata or anybody that might be there. I say by this time the West Bengal government should have been sort of presence rule should have been imposed. Till such time there is deterrence, no action is going to really have its impact on the society. By this time, action should have been taken against the officials of the Kolkata police. But unfortunately, everything out here is in doldrums. Everybody is sleeping. Why this action hasn't been taken? I'm a police guy. I have been seeing, I noticed that this kind of incidents happen. Will the authorities, governments take action only after this kind of error comes up? It's shame on us. It's shame on the country. It's shame of the administration, kind of administration and political setup that we have. Thank you.
In fact, if I could bring in the TMC spokesperson, Manav Jaiswal, the fact that Sukhendu Shekhar Roy had to write to the Honorable Home Minister goes on to indicate how he has had to, write that letter only to, in fact, fix accountability for the Kolkata police. Why couldn't that accountability of the Kolkata police be fixed by the Mamata Banerjee government or the CM herself, who so far in all that she's had to say to the press or even during that rally has only taken up for the Kolkata police and the police commissioner?
First of all, namaskar to the nation, and I should take an opportunity to tell every sisters and brothers in the country, we need to unite together and make sure that every sister of ours is safe in the country. It cannot be only the job of the administration. It cannot just be a job of, virtual reality check where you sit on the virtual platform and you give a statement. You have to do it on the grassroots level. Well, as the people of Bengal are concerned, with the women in Bengal is concerned, you have seen year on year, Calcutta has been awarded the safest city in the country. That does not undermine the heinous crime that has happened. It's sad, it's alarming. On top of it, we have to question what's going on. Today, the sister is dead, a woman is left, a family. But we are having a political agenda. You have seen CBI working for the last 5 days. There is no press conference on the CBI. I was listening to Dr. Bagai, with great respect to you, sir, and our former IPS, Sir Sashikant, sir. We are the next generation people. You are the people who have been there in the country and you have been in the helm of affairs for many, many years. I don't want to blame you, but I definitely want to tell and definitely want to bring it out that the people before us who were there in the organization and the administration when Nirbhaya happened, the law should have been done and dusted with. Fast track court, special facilities the women should
Manav
get.
Jaiswal, before you rattle on, let me tell you, you have failed, you failed to address the questions. No, there was a need for a second autopsy. The cremation was rushed. No. There are a host of questions. No. You need to answer my questions because it is your party which is currently in the dock. No, please tell me, why was the principal transferred to another prestigious college? Why hasn't the role of the Kolkata police been probed when your own TNC MPs are demanding to do so? And why is Mamata Banerjee so blatantly giving that political patronage to the Kolkata Police Commissioner Vineet Goyal?
You have had 4-5 questions, but before that I need to address Mr. Bagai.
Which is why we are having that debate, because till date those questions are unanswered.
Akanksha, why are you rushing? Don't you have patience?
No, it's not about rushing, because...
Have some patience. You have asked me a question.
No, we don't have patience.
Exactly. It's appalling that you are expecting patience for the women of this nation after that gruesome rape. Please go ahead.
This is what you've been doing for the last 10 years. You're given high voltage drama to the BJP.
No, it's your government which is very much in power. So please answer the questions.
I need to answer. Now listen to me. There's one scheme which has come up now. Mamata Banerjee has, addressed as Ratire Sati, companion for night. This has already been implemented, and it's going to be a very robust and a very concerning.
Mr. Jaiswal, stick to the case.
Listen.
Don't get into political rhetoric.
Right, Charu, I'm going to come. We need to hear what they have to say before. Yes, please go ahead,
He has nothing to say. He's getting into political rhetoric even on a day like today.
The 3 things I need to address. The first of all, about the cremation. It happened in front of the parents. And you know how the society is. When the parents are in a real shock and trauma, we ask them to get it cremated as early as possible.
Are the parents forensic experts? Are you saying that they were to conduct a second autopsy? Who were the parents to, as far as forensic testing was concerned, were the parents forensic experts? No, but please apply logic to the argument, please.
No. You have to have logic.
Okay, I give you 30 seconds. Please complete. Alright, please. We are talking about a second autopsy. We are not talking about the first autopsy. Please go ahead, complete the other 2 points.
The autopsy happened in front of the judicial magistrate. It was done on the videography.
Right, but the SSL team itself has said that there was a need for a second autopsy. Please go ahead, finish the other 2 points.
Listen to me. Now they are talking about Mr. Sukhendu Shekhar Rai. He has got this is the democratic country, and he has liberty to ask questions, which is fine. The government is answerable, the administration is answerable, everybody is answerable. As far as Vineet Goyal is concerned, I must add Within 24 hours, the culprit was arrested. Today, there has been an autopsy report where the nails, the blood stain, which is actually of the prime culprit, it has been proven.
How has it been proven? The DNA profiling report is not out as yet. Manav, you're sounding ridiculous. Charu, please go ahead. No, let Charu make a point.
You just giving a clean.
Nothing has been proven. We all know. I've given you more than 3 minutes. I've given you more than 3 minutes.
This is what
political agenda. You've called upon this.
Political agenda.
Ask Suvendu. Ask Mr. Roy. Ask Mr. Roy if this is a political agenda. Why was there need for the CBI to step in? Because it's a shame on the Kolkata police. Charu, please go ahead, make a point. Manav, I will request you to let Charu speak up. Please, Manav, let Charu speak up. Charu, please go ahead. Manav,
this is a matter where I refuse to speak over other people. It is of grave importance, and I will humbly request the TMC spokesperson to not interrupt me.
Manav, chivalry begins here. Let a woman speak.
No, come on. You can speak.
Let a woman speak.
Mr. Jaiswal, Mr. Jaiswal, I am not allowing you to speak over me.
If you have respect for your co-panelists who are women or men, please let them speak. Charu Pragya, I'm afraid I'll have to mute your mic. I'm really afraid.
Please mute him, Akansha, because really this is not a topic that I want to scream over. This is of grave importance, and I have some very important points to make, and I will make them one by one. The first thing I want to remind everyone is that it's been 10 days and only one arrest has been made. Is the Kolkata police proud about the fact that only one arrest has been made? When the autopsy report calls it a gang rape, when the victim has been treated in such a demonic manner that one person couldn't have done it, have they even given us the names of the other accused? Forget the arrests. So that's my first question. The second thing I want to ask is that why is it time and time again Mamata government is found protecting the accused and not the victim? Yes, a heinous crime has happened, but what was your response to that crime? Are you trying to cover up evidence? You delayed the passing of the case to the CBI because I don't know what you were up to. You got rid of the body by a very, very quick funeral. What was the need of that? The second thing is the statements of the principal of RGKR College, they do not add up. There are discrepancies. The CBI has said this. Another very, very important thing is that when people want to protest against this horrific murder and rape, instead of coming out in support of the protesters, your own minister says, cut down the hands of those who raise fingers against Mamata Banerjee. What else would you expect? And after Kolkata police did a screenshot of the protesters, after Kolkata police actually ensured that we get all the protesters' pictures together, 70 people were identified, 30 were arrested. You know, Akansha, there were TMC workers that were found. TMC workers were found. And what does the chief minister do? The only woman chief minister in the country, by the way, she takes to the road. Who's the home minister of the state? Mamata Banerjee. Who's the health minister of the state? Mamata Banerjee. Who wants to protect the accused here? Mamata Banerjee. Who's ensuring the police commissioner does not act up? Mamata Banerjee. The principal who should have been kicked out.
Manav, I'm going to give you a minute.
Who should have been kicked out.
This is ridiculous.
Was transferred to
Manav, questions are bound to be raised because it is a fact. It is a fact of the matter that the only woman chief minister.
Every TMC debater. You have to interrupt every TMC panelist.
I'm giving you time. The only woman chief minister who also happens to have the portfolio of health and home underneath her is protecting the police, the same police who continue to launch that violent mob ran amok on the eve of Independence Day. I want to ask you, how did the police in fact allow such a thing? And that's not us posing questions. The Calcutta High Court has asked questions.
Now, if you listen to me, you have to listen to me uninterrupted.
Listen. We are listening. We are only listening and watching. We are only spectators. Manav, please go ahead. Right. I give you 30 seconds, Manav. Please go ahead. Charu, let him speak.
Now, really, what happened in Bengal on 14th of August, midnight, 15th of August, every chaurasta, every four corner streets, everywhere in Bengal, there have been an agitation. People had a candlelight. It was all peaceful. Police was there everywhere. Every picketing point was taken care by the police. Here, where the Ajikar incident happened, there were people within the group who were actually trying to sabotage the peaceful march. And this is what they did. They tarnished the complete march. They tarnished the image of the doctor.
And Kolkata police let them tarnish the image of those peaceful protesters. They knew 7,000 were there. It's not me. Remember, you are answering the Calcutta High Court right now because it's not me posing those questions. The Calcutta High Court was equally stunned that the Kolkata police, after such a heinous, gruesome murder and rape, was still not prepared to handle a mob of 7,000. It's a shame on you and your administration, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai. Are you happy with the way this administration has handled these peaceful protesters, these doctors? Dr. Bagai, please answer my question in terms of all those two doctors who've been summoned. They've been summoned for allegedly spreading misinformation.
Your first question in the first part to me was that why not address your letter to the Chief Minister and why to the PM? The response of this gentleman from the TMC party from West Bengal answers your question more than adequately well. Instead of actually taking the blame, instead of coming to the origin of the problem, there is all kinds of fun and games happening there. Let me explain to you in exactly 60 seconds. Why call a person's death as a suicide when it is not? Why not allow the parents to see the body of their dead daughter for 3 hours? What is the urgency of the cremation? Is the autopsy been complete or not? Now even the autopsy reports are being denied. Why summon the doctors who've been whistleblowers? Why victimize the doctors who've been asking for justice? Why transfer 40 odd doctors out of Calcutta? Why is this mob allowed to come and vandalize the hospital itself? Why is the mob being allowed to climb into women's hostel? If this is not terrorizing the students, what is? Why are you allowing renovation work to happen right next to where that rape and murder took place? That crime scene should have been sterile and cordoned off. This is bizarre. This is ridiculous. This is not justified. He can wave his hand as much as he wants. But the fact is, we don't trust them. Therefore, we trust our Prime Minister. And if you ask me at a personal level, as a brother, as a father, as a husband to a wife, as a son to a mother, there should be president's rule in West Bengal, and this present government has no moral right to be in power. You can't protect a young lady doctor at work. That is ridiculous.
This gentleman, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, did you write any letter on Hathras? Unnao? Uttarakhand, a nurse has been raped and
shameful, Manav, absolutely shameful. Do you need to buy shame from the market? Do you need to buy shame from the market? You are resorting to Hathras. Your Chief Minister says that the opposition is politicizing a matter as fragile as rape and murder. Who is politicizing this matter? No, Manav, please, there are basic, very basic codes and ethics to conducting a debate, and I will not let you politicize a matter such as this. Mr. Shashikant, do you think, please, Manav, please calm down. No, do not resort to such cheap publicity stunts and such cheap arguments which in fact only bring your party down, which is already down in the dumps right now. Mr. Shashikant, do you think that the Trinamool Congress and the Chief Minister at the moment are resorting to misinformation as an allegation to muffle all those questions that are being posed to their governance?
I'll speak as a former police officer. Whenever such kind of incidents, serious incidents take place, police, which is always under the thumb of the concerned political party or leadership or government, whatever it is in the state, they try to play all sorts of games and they permit the scenario to become a circus. Now, my question is, I blame everybody. Whatever happened there, a section of media is calling it alleged rape. What the hell does it mean? The governor is sitting there. I saw his statement right now saying that this has happened. Has he written a letter to the President of India saying that this has happened and the President needs to take action on it? Unfortunately, whether police, why did they do it? I know whenever such incidents take place, police is always trying to hush it up all over the country.
No, I'll tell you why I'm saying
body.
that, because today both the doctors who've been summoned have been summoned on charges of spreading misinformation. That is why I asked you specifically, why is misinformation being quoted for everything? In fact, we've also spoken to one of the doctors today, and he's categorically stated everything that was shared in the autopsy report. He's not even shared on record the name of the victim. So why accuse him of spreading misinformation?
Is not, that's why I say, I don't think that the doctors are trying to spread a disinformation or misinformation. My objection as it is that why we always look into the media. If they want to take any action, the government wants to take any action on anything, they say, okay, somebody said this thing, okay, take action. Why actions not taken at all? In this case, I don't think the doctors are trying to spread out the misinformation, disinformation.
All right. I'd like to quickly bring in Charu. Yes, Charu, please go ahead. I think we'll be ending with your thoughts.
So, first of all, what has TMC done against its minister, Udayan Guha? Please tell me. Because he's pointing fingers at the protesters, telling them that you cannot raise a voice against something as heinous, as horrific as this rape. Has any action been taken against him? Secondly, Mr. Jaiswal is jumping up and down, trying to pretend this police is doing a fabulous job. Mr. Jaiswal, I'm asking you again, 10 days later, in spite of this being a clear case of gang rape, can you tell us the name of one other accused? All you have done is try and get rid of evidence. What are you hiding? Who are you protecting? And it has become a pattern of sorts in West Bengal. Whether it is Nadia, whether it is Sandesh Khani, or it is Kolkata, time after time after time, women are victimized and they have been kept on the side. No, Mr. Jaiswal, you have crossed all limits. You are bringing in other cases, quoting other cases, instead of telling us why your police, forget about protecting the victim, could not even protect the protesters on the streets.
Is coming off.
Please tell me this. Forget about protecting the victim and bringing her to justice. You have not even been able to protect the protesters. I am asking you certain questions.
All right,
which need to be answered.
Manav and Charu, I'm afraid I'm running out of time. I'll tell you what the truth is right now. The truth is that who has miscalculated her moves. There's a chief minister who's been very fond of protesting, but unfortunately is doing nothing about all those doctors who are protesting on the streets. Joining in, and with that, it's a wrap on that debate. But coming up on the other side of a quick break, there's corruption, tainting, and haunting the Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. Is Siddaramaiah completely cornered? We'll be discussing all of that, but in just a bit.
And I've told people, and they think I'm joking about it, it was harder to win that state football championship than it was to become governor. So it's tough work. You got to count on a lot of things. You got to do a lot of things. And in our team, we ran a 44 defense. I wouldn't have wanted to go against this guy, I can tell you that. There's no stopping that run. But the kids played hard, and they understood that it was something bigger than themselves. And I'll have to tell you, being out here with Vice President Harris, I know it'd be easy, especially now. Our politics has been pretty ugly. Our politics seem pretty negative. Our politics is something that I know, what I fear most is that young people turn away from it rather than turning into it. Politics isn't that much different than this. It's about something bigger than themselves, about setting. It's about doing it with humility, and when you lose, you walk across the field and you shake hands with the other team and know they played hard too.
hope, love. All right, now I want to see this country progress.
And what does she mean for you? Less rate.
The Governor has sanctioned his prosecution over the alleged irregularities in the site allotment by the Mysuru Urban Development Authority. Over the weekend, the BJP has escalated their campaign against the Chief Minister and his government. The Governor of the state, Thaawarchand Gehlot, has sanctioned the Lokayukta to prosecute Siddaramaiah based on the petitions by 3 activists. Karnataka's BJP, the Governor streets and protest today to drive home their respective points. Even as the political heat is rising, the Karnataka High Court has granted some relief to the Karnataka Chief Minister. The court has ordered deferment of proceedings. These allegations against the Karnataka CM, they are now centering around the Mysuru Urban Development Authority and claims of malpractices that surround the multiple, which has prompted this prosecution sanction. Here's also a look at these allegations which he's currently facing. The first and foremost charge is that there's been an allotment of 14 sites in the Mysuru case to his the two Chief Minister's wife, which have been, of course, declared as illegal. The second charge is it's the land value. The third charge is that there's been a misuse of power and forgery of documents for land. And the fourth charge is that there's been no mention of the land ownership in the election affidavit. And that certainly has got tongues wagging within the opposition BJP. And so on the MUDA scam, which has now tainted the CM's image, the question we are asking today, is Karnataka's Chief Minister completely cornered?
ನಾನು ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಜೀವನ ತೆರೆದ ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಇದ್ದಾಗೆ ಈ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಯಾವುದೇ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ, ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವತ್ತು
परमिशन दे दिया प्रोसिक्यूशन के लिए. अभी जो भी है कानून लड़ाई करेंगे, देखेंगे कोर्ट में क्या होता है, वेट करेंगे.
That time also they given permission to the prosecution for the Yediyurappa. But our party that time
Alright, on that note, let me introduce our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Mr. Narendra Rangappa, who is a spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, Bhavya Narasimhamurthy, who is also the spokesperson for the Congress Party, and I'd like to, in fact, pose my question to Bhavya first. Bhavya, the big question that's being posed also by the BJP in the opposition is that if Siddaramaiah claims that there has been no black mark in his performance and in all these years of administration, why wasn't the property mentioned in the election?
So first of all, there was a statement made by Mr. Ashok right now. The opposition leader, he's been so irresponsible in making statements. He actually said after the governor gave permission for Yadurappa, their party guided him to resign, right? Was 21st 11. That too after Lokayukta filed for the permission with 1,600 pages of strong evidence with the governor. But then Yadurappa resigned only on August 4th, 2011, after the law that they investigated proved the issues and blamed Yadurappa for that. So there was like 8 months difference where the investigation happened after resign. But how can an opposition leader arrest? And in fact, the same Mr. Ashok had spoken against it when we asked for Yadurappa's resignation. He was actually against it just before he resigned.
I'm going to take that question, but Bhavya, you've still not answered the question. If he's had such a spotless, record, Bhavya, then why shouldn't the Karnataka CM, who is currently under the scanner, why aren't you addressing the question that I have posed, which is in terms of why was there an absence of the mention of these properties from the election?
You know, this was from CM's wife's brother to her. And only in 2021, that too under BJP government, this was allotted to her. Right? There is and how can someone actually blame the opposition leader when they were in power for the allotment of this for this land? You really see any merit at all in this? Or do you just see the misuse of the position of governor?
R.K. Upadhyay wants to make Mr. Upadhyay, before I come to you, Narendra Rangappa, what would you like to say? Because, you know, the big defense that's been coming in from the Congress party ever since the scam came to the forefront is that it was sanctioned, these land allotments were sanctioned under your government. Whether or not the need to prosecute is something I will be deep diving with Mr. Upadhyay as well. But Mr. Rangappa, I'd like your thoughts.
See, in 2010, she gets a gift deed. Before that, they convert the land in 2004. Okay. But in 1998 to 2000, lands are allotted, the area is developed. On what basis did the Deputy Commissioner say this is an agriculture land which can be converted to a residential plot? Number one. Number two, in 2013, after receiving the gift deed, 3 years after receiving the gift deed, Mr. Siddaramaiah says that he has not disclosed it in his election affidavit. Then again in 2014, after he becomes the chief minister, he claims compensation. And in 2017, the Urban Development Act of Karnataka is amended, where the amendment says that whenever there is a legal compensation, or a compensatory mechanism or legal compensatory mechanism, everything did not come to the government or the cabinet or the chief minister. It can be solved at the local level or in the urban bodies. That is the MUDA in this case, where the board will sit, they'll discuss and they will take
Mr. Rangappa, the big charge coming in from the Congress.
One more sentence. And when this is the law in 23, Mr. Rajiv, the MUDA chairman, Mr. Ratindra, the board member, the leader of opposition, Mr. Siddaramaiah, his wife's case is decided in the MUDA board, not in the table of cabinet minister for urban development or the CM. This is very clear. Why is the Congress not highlighting that?
No, because they are saying that you waited it out. Mr. Rangappa, the Congress argument is that you waited it out for him to become CM, and in fact, it's not just the Congress argument. This is what Abhishek Singhvi had to say today in the court.
Got the land in
that that you actually
he has got the compensated land in 23.
This complaints only born out of the fact that now Siddaramaiah is the chief minister and that no other public servant has been highlighted in this complaint, and which is why they come to this conclusion that this is a political vendetta.
See, I have made my point clear. At no point of time has any cabinet minister or the chief minister has signed sanction of the compensatory sites to Srimati Parvati Siddaramaiah. It is the stooges who concocted and played this part, and after the election, all these people who were included are under his protection, including
Mr.
the chairman
Upadhyay,
of
how
MUDA.
do you assess what Mr. Rangappa has just now said? Because the fact of the matter is that it is also what is also being discussed right now is the need to prosecute just yet. Why was the cabinet not included in that decision by the governor is also the other big burning question.
Akanksha, before answering the question, I would like to point out why Siddaramaiah was not able to file it in the election petition the details of his wife's assets. He in fact later said that he forgot about it, which is not an excuse at all, because in the election affidavit you have to mention not only your properties but the family members' properties as well. So anyway, that was 2013, he forgot, and then later on it came on board. But the fact is that the governor has taken action based on his own judgment. It is not just the cabinet, the note that has been sent to him. He has given a show cause notice based on his own assessment. And in fact, in his order, he makes it very clear that he has made this order under Section 17A of the Prevention of Corruption Act. So there he has the power, and also the 218 of the BNSS. So he has also quoted the Supreme Court's 5-judge bench judgment, where they upheld the governor's power to prosecute the chief minister.
No, but at the same time,
they
have also alluded to the landmark judgment of Shamsher Singh versus the state of Punjab back in the year 1974, where the Supreme Court has clearly ruled out that the governor has limited powers and it can only happen in terms of a constitutional crisis, which is not the case over here.
Well, but the fact of the matter is, this was discussed today at the, I was watching the live streaming of the High Court proceedings, where the Solicitor General also brought up this matter, and the judge seriously took note of that. Justice Naga Prasanna took note of this. So, of course, the whole, the argument has been postponed to 29th, and Manu Singhi pressed for, interim stay, which was not given by the High Court. Which means, this drags on for another, 10 days. But in the meanwhile, look at what is happening across the state. The Congress workers have gone on the rampage, and they're burning and, putting sleepers on the photograph of the governor. Is it what is expected in a, in a civilized society? I mean, the Chief Minister's administration is silent about what's happening to the, the way the governor is being treated. Just because they're given some order, which is not liked by the government, can the ruling party go ahead with this kind of a mayhem? Why isn't there any condemnation? Why isn't the police taking any action against all these people?
Bhavya, I'd like to bring you in on this. You just heard what Mr. Upadhyay is saying, because even if the cabinet was not consulted, that's no rhyme or reason for the governor to be disrespected in such a way. The fact of the matter also remains, we are talking at a time and there's already a scam where, as far as the Valmiki board scam is concerned, there's cash for posting scam, plastic recycling scam, Karnataka state health habitat scam. Well, the list is out here with me.
And I don't understand why someone as a journalist has a problem with that. And here we have
a difference. The governor? Can you do it against the governor?
Has used his constitutional position. He has misused his constitutional position in giving permission.
That has to be decided.
The problem here is he hasn't followed. We are not saying he should have waited for the cabinet nod. Yes, governor in some cases has his discretion, but he has to follow the rules according to Prevention of Corruption Act, Section 17. He They were supposed to go through a police or through the High Court only.
Who says so?
How can the governor just take cognizance of any person's complaint and
You're
any
making a wrong
filed by a
interpretation,
competent
ma'am.
authority?
All right, I
You are
see.
making a wrong interpretation of the
No,
law.
I see Mr. Rangappa wants to make a point. Mr. Rangappa, what is it that you want to state over there with those papers?
See, Article 163 is very clear about the role of the governor. This is again held up by the verdict by in the case of Dr. Swamy versus Dr. Manmohan Singh in 2012. He says, quote, only thing that competent authority is required to see is whether the material placed by the complainant or agency prima facie discloses commission of an offence. Supreme Court order. What do you mean government can't give a permission?
Bhavya, do you have anything to say to that?
17A was, amended or I think was made by your own.
And what does 17A say, madam?
September 2021.
Can I ask
so
my
panelists,
co-panelists,
your own government's law,
what does 17A say?
The law that your own government made?
I would like to counter
the governor who is acting like your agent is not even following the law you made in September 2021. And you are just
what does 17A say? Can you enumerate?
Your own agent? He's just become an agent of BJP party. All
you are making false, baseless
allegiance to the Constitution of India.
You are making false and baseless allegations. These are desperate allegations.
The governor using his discretion.
This shows the desperation.
If only the governor had followed
Mr. Siddaramaiah is going to be in trouble very soon. I would like to question my counterpart. What does 17A say, madam?
It says that and prima facie, there should be some merit in it, and prima facie it should look like, the person involved, whoever against whom the allegation is there should be some merit in it, right? And the permission will be given to a police officer, a competent authority.
No. I just read out the Supreme Court order.
Supreme Court order 17A section. So you tell me,
complainant.
So according to your convenience, you're going to use anything that you want.
Is just a permission
so your own
to
party
grant
makes rules
inquiry.
This is not prosecuted as the government.
Right.
Exactly, the governor.
All right, I'd like to, in fact, Mr. Rangappa, I have a question. In his petition, Siddaramaiah has said that this is clearly an attempt to the Karnataka government of a complainant who himself is a blackmailer. Clearly, we all know that the person he is referring to is T.J. Abrams. I'd like your thoughts.
Madam, I can show you clips where Mr. Siddaramaiah has praised the same Abraham, saying that he is the angel of truth. Same Abraham, same Siddaramaiah in 2012. See, when Siddaramaiah is not involved, everything is wrong. He went on to say, Mr. Yadurappa should resign on moral grounds. What morality has he got now? Should he not resign by himself?
Bhavya, this has been noticed and observed time and again about the Congress party, not just in Karnataka, but overall we've seen how there's a selective, opposition, and whenever there's a person who dares to question the governance, that's when they become turncoats, they become blackmailers.
Until 2011, and where Yadurappa was arrested, we all thought Yadurappa was a great activist, right? But only later we realized that what he was, the same thing with this Abraham. He's a of truth. That doesn't mean
they said his confinement was wrong.
There are many
cases where he has
been a blackmailer.
Supreme Court has given a judgment in Yadurappa case. Yadurappa case, Supreme Court has given a judgment saying that his confinement was wrong.
No.
The thing here, governor gave the permission only after Lokayukta filed a case with, strong evidence of 1,600
What did the Supreme Court say?
Now tell me on what merit did this
What did the Supreme Court say? What did the Supreme
When
Court say against
the governor
Yediyurappa?
did not give
They said the whole
permission to prosecute Kumaraswamy, prosecute Nirani, Murugesh Nirani, to prosecute the Janardhan Reddy. When Lokayukta asked for permission, this same governor, these governors did not give the permission. But now a private citizen gives a complaint and the governor will just give a permission. Why didn't the governor give the permission for all these things when there was a
Alright, Mr. R.K. Upadhyay, you know, I have to you there an unbased exercise by the governor, because this is what Siddaramaiah's petition also says, that there was no verification whether in terms of genuinity, in terms of the to at the best of T.J. Abrams.
No, in fact, this matter came up in the High Court today when Manoj Singhvi pointed out that Shashikala, in case of Shashikala Jile and Nirani, the governor has not given the permission and it's pending, which was challenged by the Solicitor General. He said no filing the government. I mean, Solicitor General wouldn't be saying something like that unless it's a fact. So, this is being peddled around, saying that there are other, people's cases which is, the governor has not acted on. So, misinformation going around, and I think only the court will be able to go into all this.
Right, but don't you think, Mr. Upadhyay, this is also becoming about the governor versus the judiciary? Right, but let me quote, Bhavya, I'm going to come to you. Let me make a point over here, Mr. Upadhyay. Let me moderate this debate because that's my job. And Mr. Upadhyay, don't you think that this is now becoming about the governor versus the judiciary? Because this is what Tushar Mehta had to say. He said that governor is a constitutional authority, has passed an order, and any injunction or stay on it by another constitutional authority or directly not, which also goes to indicate that you are also challenging the authority of the judiciary.
No, I don't think so, because see, now this... The court, can definitely take a view on this and, pass the order. So I don't think, the High Court will be circumscribed by whatever the Solicitor General is saying. And there have been multiple cases where, the governor's action has been overturned. And, he take a view on that. Based on the material that is before him.
All right, I'm afraid I'm running short of time. We'll have to leave it at that. Many thanks to you, Mr. Narendra Rangappa, Bhavya, and of course, Mr. R.K. Upadhyay for joining in with those precious inputs. And with that, it's a quick wrap from my end. Thank you so much for watching Speak. Up next is Hot Facts with Rahul Shushakar.
Brought to you by
the 70s, we had no rights. We were less than. We were treated differently. And like her, a woman rise above all the stuff that I had to go through. It's amazing.
Like, I don't know if I'll ever pay that off, and it's nice to know that, like, if Harris wins, that she would hopefully look out for me, and I know Trump wouldn't. Interest in society and as a professional and as a person, hopefully will be more secure with Harris.